Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Marisa, and last night I had a dream. It was very interesting, actually, and I felt led to share it today and bring you a word with it. And so first I'm going to share the dream, then I'll give you the interpretation of the dream with a little message. So in the dream, I was in a garden, and in the garden there was a little park, like a kid's playground, you know, like with slides and merry-go-round and swings and things like that. And so I walk over to this little park and I'm staring at the merry-go-round, and all of a sudden I look down in the dirt underneath the merry-go-round, like you know how like you can it sticks out, so about this much snake tail was sticking out of the merry-go-round. So like the heads of the snakes were underneath the merry-go-round and then the tails were protruding. But it was interesting because the tails were like interlocked with each other, like wrapped around. There was like 3 snakes and they were like wrapped around with each other, like almost like when snakes, I guess, when they mate or something, but there was 3 of them. And so all of a sudden I got really scared, and the gardener came up and he said to me, because instinctively I knew they were poisonous, right? So I knew they were dangerous. I didn't see their heads, so I don't know what kind they were, but they were really colorful and really long. And so because they were coiled up, I was like, well, you know, not coiled up, but just wrapped together, like braided together. But they didn't see me, so I was like, okay, I wasn't scared of them biting me, but you know, just snakes make me nervous anyway. So anyway, as I get really nervous, the gardener walks up and he's like telling me, he's like, oh, it's okay, we're gonna unravel them, and they're easy, we can kill them easier by themselves than we can together. And then I woke up, and so, well, and then in the dream I knew that we were gonna have to like each grab a snake by the tail to unravel this thing. And then it was like when we went to do it, I woke up because I probably was scared of grabbing a snake anyway. But it was a very symbolic, very interesting message in this dream, and I want to kind of break it down for you because okay, so the garden represents your heart, right? Usually when you dream of gardens, it's like the place where your relationship with God is, or your soul, you know. And so like if you have a barren garden, you have a barren soul. If you have a weeded garden, you have weeds in your garden. You have too many distractions in your life, too many things that don't belong there, you know. So there's different symbologies. And so in this dream in the garden, there was a little playground, right? Like, and so the interesting thing, I think it was more about the merry-go-round than it was it just having like a little play area in the garden. Because the merry-go-round represents cycles, like things that go round and round and round and round and round. And it's like, so a merry-go-round is not necessarily a good thing, because a lot of times we go round and round and round and round, and we should progress. We should not keep going around in circles. Like the Bible says, you've gone around this mountain one too many times. Like, let's go somewhere else, you know? And so the merry-go-round is symbolic for that aspect. So I think that's why the playground was in the garden. And so the snakes sticking out, the way they were braided, I was reminded of that verse, I think in Ecclesiastes, of a 3-strand cord is not easily broken. But this is a demonic strand. This is a demonic stronghold in your life. And see, the thing about demons is they cluster together. So usually when you have, this is how demonic activity works. It's not just one demon. It's usually a cluster of things that all work together. Let's say you have a root of a demonic stronghold of rejection. Well, that rejection will later turn into lust, because you're rejected, you will have a spirit of perversion or lust because you want to get attention because of your rejection. You want to heal your rejection wound, but not in the right way, in a wrong way, which is, promiscuous behavior, getting the wrong kind of attention to validate yourself, to make yourself feel better. And then, you can have pride, and anger and rage and unforgiveness. See, these things all cluster together. So usually you don't just have pride, you have pride and envy. They go hand in hand, right? So you're proud, but then when you see somebody with something better than you, you get really envious because you think you're the best. And, so anger can turn to rage. Anger is not necessarily like a demon, but unhealthy, unresolved anger can turn demonic because it turns to unforgiveness and bitterness and anger and rage, and it manifests in your soul, and then it manifests in your body, so everything clusters together. Demons love, misery loves company, so demons flock together. So anyway, so the snake was 3-folded and it was exposed, right? So it was exposed. And the thing about it, you might be going through a season of exposure in your life where God's kind of unveiling some things that you thought were done away with. You thought they were gone because you haven't seen them manifested in a long time, but all of a sudden recently they might have been popping up where you're like, wait a minute, what is that? That shouldn't be there, and the Lord's just showing you, it's been there, it's just been covered up and we haven't been working on that, but now is the time we're going to expose that thing. But don't worry, we're going to rip that thing out, we're going to expose it, we're going to get it out. And so the gardener was Jesus, and he was just basically coming to comfort me and saying, don't be scared. And then he gave me he told me what we were going to do to fix this thing, right? So he came with instructions. He's not just going to let you do it by yourself. He was the one that was he gave you the what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, I'm at coffee. He's gonna give you just the blueprints on how to do this thing, how to get rid of this stronghold in your life, and then easily see the demon in the 3-strong cord, the braided cord. It's stronger like that. But once we separate them and deal with them individually, they're easier to attack, right? And so that's what he was coming to me to tell me. We're gonna separate these things, basically, so that we can take them out one by one. So it's not this overwhelming thing that you're going to have to do all at one time. It's just he's going to come with a methodology to, to destroy these things and get rid of them. And that's why they're being exposed, because he doesn't want you going around this merry-go-round anymore. See, a merry-go-round cycle is my life was plagued with cycles for a long time, so I understand this concept. You start off you start off doing well, and then as soon as things start going good, you get self-sabotagey, or you get prideful, or you get whatever, and then you go back to the things that broke you, and then you have to crash and burn and start over and rebuild your life up. And these are cycles that we do. We think we're strong, we think we got it all together, and then we come back and we are on the same merry-go-round over and over and over and over and over again. And see, the Lord wants us to grow up and not play on merry-go-rounds anymore, but the hidden things, the things that are keeping you on that merry-go-round, God's going to expose them, and he's going to not only tell you how to break these things off, he's going to help you do it one by one. He's going to weaken the enemy for you, and he's going to destroy them. And that's why those things are being exposed now. It seems maybe out of nowhere. Those things are just coming up in your life, and it seems man, where is this coming from? I haven't dealt with this in so long. And he's yeah, it was probably there for a while. We just were working on other things, and now it's time. Now you're strong enough. Now we're going to do this together. Now you're built up enough to have the tools and the capabilities to tackle this thing, and it's not gonna bite you anymore. It's not gonna keep you on that merry-go-round anymore. We're gonna finish this thing. You know, whatever the Lord starts in your life, He is going to finish it. He who began a good work in you will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. That is my life verse. That is the verse I stand on. That is the verse I shout from the rooftops. Whatever He has begun in you, He will complete it. He's not going to leave you half finished, half healed, half delivered. He's gonna, and sometimes that deliverance process, it takes a long time. A lot of people think deliverance just happens when you say a prayer and you cry some tears and then you get baptized, and then no. Deliverance can take years, and don't let anybody make you feel bad if you haven't been fully delivered, because there are plenty of people in churches, there's plenty of people in pulpits that haven't been delivered, who think they are, and because of their pride, they'll never fully walk in the freedom that Christ died to make them free. I just believe that God is going to go at your own pace with your deliverance, because sometimes we're not strong enough to fight those giants. Sometimes He has to strengthen us little by little by little, because we're not able to maintain the full deliverance, you know. So basically it's like when the demons leave a person, right? Jesus said that when a demon is cast out, he goes from the man and he wanders the dry earth, and then he waits a while, and he comes back with 7 stronger of his friends. And when he finds that the house is empty, right? The house is you. When you haven't put anything in that house to fill it up with Jesus, that house is sitting dormant. The house is he's got squatter's rights to that point. That demon is like, oh, look, our house is empty. Nobody's home. Let's go check in. That's our old crib. And hey, guys, come with me, you know. And so he brings 7 of his friends. And so the last state of the man is worse than the former state, because you never filled your house up with Jesus. You never filled your house up with prayer, reading the Bible, having a relationship with God, faith, works, good works, ministry, you know, Bible studies, fellowship with other people. You didn't fill your life up with Jesus, so your house is just sitting empty. And so it's the same thing with deliverance, because so the process of deliverance, the reason why it can take a while is because God will deliver us from some things instantaneous. You know, He delivered me in my drug addiction and my sex addiction like that. And I had to fill that area of my life up with the Lord, right? And then He'll move you on to, okay, now that we've got that taken care of, and you've built up that part of your inner man, now we're going to deliver you of this over here. And then you build up that part of your inner man, and now He's going to deliver you of this over here. And so I feel like the harder battles are when you're built up. He saves those harder battles for when you're strong, right? Because some of those things have such a stronghold, like that snake having a 3-strand cord, like it's not easily broken, right? And so some of those things, He has to wait till your inner man is strong enough to defeat that thing. And so that's why deliverance can take years. And so if you're going through a deliverance process right now, don't feel like convicted and condemned by people who don't know what they're talking about, you know, because that the church has a good habit of making people feel ashamed for not being as holy as they are, you know. And it's like, okay, no comment, but you know what I mean. So don't ever feel bad for where you are now. Just be grateful for the relationship and how far God's brought you so far, you know. And I like to think back on all the wonderful things that the Lord has done for me and remind myself daily of like, oh man, He's still working on me. And as long as we stay in that place of humility of like, yeah, the Lord's working on us. We are that garden. He's cultivating that garden. Our heart is that garden. That's where He lives in us. And He's the master gardener. He knows what He's doing. He's in control. He's the Lord of your life. He's going to make it beautiful in its time. Everything has a time and a season. And as long as you stay committed to the process, you follow His instructions, you grow closer to Him, seek Him, seek His will for your life. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and everything else will be added to you. And he's going to be continuously working on us. And he doesn't stop working. You know, and a lot of things, as long as we stay in the race, he's running right there with us. You know, a lot of people, what they do is they say a prayer of salvation and get baptized, and they think that that's all there is. Now they just go sit in a pew for like 100 years until they die. And they think that that's what it's all about. But I'm telling you what, this walk is hard. It's messy. It's not A to B. God's path for us is not clear cut and precise. Sometimes he takes us up, sometimes he takes us down. You know, it's like the verse in, I think, Ezekiel, and he has him, or Jeremiah, and he has him go down and watch the potter make the clay vessels, and the potter's making the clay, and then he crashes it down. He's making the clay and he's like crashing down. That's what God does to us. You know, it's like he'll form us, and then it feels like sometimes he just breaks that thing down, and it's like, well, something wasn't right, and then he does it again. But each time that clay's getting more malleable, more workable. And so the finished product with that clay, after the clay is finished, it gets put into the fire, right? And so when it goes in the fire tests the clay. And so if there's any cracks, or if there's anything wrong with the way it's built, that fire is going to expose any of those things. And then guess what? You got to get repaired. You got to get fixed again. You got to get worked on again, you know. And so then every time God works on us, he puts us in a fire to purify us, and then he brings us out, and he's like, all right, let's do that again, until we come out and we are perfect vessels for him. So this is a ongoing process with your life. This is not clear cut, one and done. Say a sinner's prayer and you're good to go. This is the narrow road. This is the hard way. This is the path that few find, and it is the path that, you know, he's going to get the most glory out of your life. So don't ever be ashamed of where you're at and what God's doing in your life. And so I love you guys. I hope this dream helped you guys. You know, he's doing a work in us. And so whatever he's exposing right now, pay attention to it. Seek him on his methods for removing whatever it is that he's trying to remove in your life. And so anyway, I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.